Hello Libra, welcome to December 2018. Last but certainly not least, you and Scorpio. Sorry about that. I know I took longer. It was Thanksgiving holiday, just sort of got in the way, and it is what it is. I hope you all had an amazing holiday though, especially those Americans out there. If it wasn't with your family, then at least the family that you've created for yourself. So we got our first card, Five of Swords. And I know this Venus retrograde was such a thing. And it really did impact relationships. You know, it impacted the people that we're connected with on a regular basis. And it really surfaced honesty. Honesty within ourselves, honesty within our partnerships, honesty within every area of our life. Like there was no corner that we could hide around. And whatever it is, I always say this is a card of bad habits or toxic patterns. You know, that kind of cyclical behavior that we kind of like continually get caught in over and over and over. And that probably is really what you were sitting there staring at face to face, even if it was like, didn't have to be like dating the same person over and over. It could be a personal habit that you have or a personal mindset that you found that's been holding you back, right? That's the thing with the swords. It's about your mindset. It's about your thoughts and the things that cycle through up here that determine your decisions out there. Okay, so that's an interesting card to get first and right out of the gate. No surprise, the turnover is real. It is the beginning of a new era for a lot of us. And with Jupiter coming back home for the first time in 12 years, I think we're feeling, or one of his homes anyway, I think we are feeling this sort of abundance quality. In spite of this, you know, I had this with Virgo too. It was like, in spite of this, this is still happening. In spite of not feeling ready, in spite of feeling like you still need to prepare, in spite of still feeling like something's not over or you need closure or whatever, the universe is coming out and being like, no, that's just all in your head. You don't really need that. And you're being called up to really go through this rebirthing process. So much has changed in the past few months. And I know that if you look back 4 or 5 months ago, you're going to be like, yeah, wow, a lot really has changed just even inside. Your mindset, the way you see the world. And it's time to put that whole new perspective to good use. And this is going to carry over and resonate into all areas of your life. Your relationships specifically, your closest, most intimate relationships, okay? The world is... it's neutral. It's kind of like it's neither here nor there. It just is what it is. And when, again, it's a Saturn ruled card. So when Saturn comes in and has a say in what's going on, you're kind of at his mercy a little bit. You're at the mercy of the tension and you're at the mercy of the lessons. It's all going to work out okay. I know you have so much to give. Maybe you don't think you do. Maybe you don't realize your value. That's such a thing with Libra, like really not knowing what it is you're truly worth because you got that Virgo in the 12th house there. And, you know, really stepping up to the plate and being like, yeah, I'm totally worth this. I'm totally worth something better. I'm totally worth more money. I'm totally worth yada, yada, yada. And the list could go on and on. You are worth it. And I think that's what this rebirthing really is. And sorry not to be gross, maybe you guys have heard me say this before, but I often see this as like a child coming through the birth canal, right? Like a birthing process, which is painful sometimes. And breaking through, sometimes, breaking through these can be perceived as painful. We feel pain in our heart when we acknowledge that these exist and we acknowledge all the ways that we've held ourselves back. And now it's time for things to really even out. And it's time for you to just accept how awesome you are. You know, it's time for you to just be like, okay, universe, I'm asking you for help. I'm asking you for guidance. I'm asking you to open some doors. I'm not going to hold myself back anymore. This is me saying I'm ready. Okay, and that's why these coming out together is so beautiful. This is you saying that you're ready. You're not going to get yourself in a position where you're working like so hard with something and getting so little return. Like that, those are the days gone by. That doesn't need to exist anymore. You can still work hard for the things you want, but why are we working so hard for the things we don't want? You know, it's time to put that to bed. What else for Libra? We'll clarify that Five of Swords for sure in the comprehensive. Maybe we'll look at the world too. We'll see what else comes out. The readiness. This is complete and utter surrender. This is even sometimes you just saying, you know what, let me just try something and see if it works, you know? Like you feel inspired to do something, so you do it, and if it works out, great. If not, great. Doesn't really matter. There's total openness, like complete, just whatever shall be, que sera, sera, okay? And knowing that you have this sun back there behind you as your guiding force. See, the thing I love about his posture here is just how incredibly open he is. Like his heart is just like, here's my heart, you know, and I'm ready to receive. I'm ready to receive. Because all those times that I was fighting a losing battle, it just took too much from me. It took too much. It stole too much. It killed my soul a little bit. And you guys, I mean, to have the world and the Fool, the beginning and the end, I mean, this is pretty epic. It's an epic moment for you. Okay, and Jupiter and Sagittarius, you know, that's third house activity. And I think you're going to start getting really busy, but it's like the good busy, the kind of busy that you get so lost in the flow that you just completely, like you're not even in the space-time continuum anymore. You like transcend time altogether. I think they call that out of time is what they refer to it as, right? Being out of time, literally extracting yourself. And I think that's kind of bliss that you could be feeling or that you could expect to feel. This is being open for like a really good relationship, or being open to having your relationship change into something good. Career changes, all sorts of things. I mean, there's such wonderful optimism here that it can't be matched. It can't be matched. And you're just on a roll. Keep it going. Don't stop the train. The train is coming. Don't stop the train. Okay? See? There's mental stuff going on. I often say the Seven of Swords is a card of self-sabotage. Now, because I'm not getting the energy of any other person out here, I do feel that this is certainly you deceiving yourself, or you have that temptation, right? Because this is the cyclical pattern. The self-sabotage is the repeated habit. Okay, that's why these are coming out together. This isn't a big deal. It's a choice. You're faced with a choice right now. Do you want to be here and receiving and being open? Or do you want to be closed off and trying to control stuff that's really not in your control in the first place? You know, somehow we always try so hard to control stuff, even though that's like ridiculous. Like we all know that there are certain things in life that are just completely out of our hands. We all know that. So Seven of Swords is a little rough, but if you're aware of this, if you're aware of that self-sabotaging behavior, maybe reverting back to negative thoughts, maybe reverting back to a toxic relationship, maybe being afraid to take a leap. Now, I'm not saying to go and quit your job and have no kind of safety net. Like, obviously, you have to be smart about stuff, right? This is just a tarot card reading, guys. But it's about the analysis of what's going on up here. That's really where the consciousness needs to be. The awareness that this still exists. And you may really be battling. It's almost as though you're battling against your two sides, the two sides of the scale there. There is such a huge pull to be moving in this direction here, and yet for some reason you're still looking backwards. There is no need for anyone to be looking backwards here, okay? The more and more you look backwards, the more and more hindered your future becomes, all right? Getting 2 cards, Page of Wands and the Moon. First of all, this is a card of Pisces, okay? Mars in Pisces. Gets weird, I know. You may have a lot of career stuff going on because that does have to do with work, you know, 6th house stuff. You need to be on guard the next couple months, especially coming up to the end of December as Mars comes in connection with Neptune and Pisces, especially with the masculine energies in your life. You have to be careful, okay? If you're dealing with a fire sign, be careful with that person, all right? Look, first and foremost, this is, if you have a situation in mind, move forward with no expectations. Just openness. Open to maybe nothing, or open to maybe everything, and open to everything in between. Because the minute you start projecting expectations is the minute that this is going to start kicking in. Again, it's about relinquishing control, especially if there's some kind of dependency on someone else, right? This is about finding your own internal happiness that is not dependent on anybody else or any circumstance, because happiness, joy, fulfillment, all these things that we feel is so far out of reach, completely within our control. It all begins up here. And so this fire sign of yours, I don't know why I see that as an external person. I just kind of do, because they're kind of in line with the 7 of Swords, 5 of Swords. I feel like they're a little bit of a trigger. You know, they're not going to really give you a lot. Pages never really do. It's just a little bit. If it's communication, it's just a little bit. If it's a date, it's like kind of a date, but not really a date. You know, and it's not consistent. It's not predictable. There's still optimism here. And I think that there are many, many, many reasons to be optimistic. Okay, a Page of Wands often has this sort of sense of adventure and this sense of just like, I guess just excitement, I guess we could just say, you know, a sense of excitement about whatever is over the next hill. But, you know, you do want to make sure you're not living so much in the future too and living in the moment. Because when you start living in the future and you start projecting, that's when this kind of stuff takes hold, okay? Living in the moment, being in the now, allowing for yourself to make this transition from the old to the new. This is, and I say painful as in like a rebirth process, but it's not like a death card, okay, where a death card can be really intense. This is not as intense as it is, I think, just slow. And there's kind of a, it's like one of those things like you're moving forward, but you don't really realize that you're moving forward. And then when you're done, you're like, oh, I just went through that. Oh, okay. And the moon does, you know, especially when it's coming out with the 7 of Swords, you are prone, everyone, there is just this in the air to maybe some lying or people's delusions, people's projections, people's like big time fantasies. And the barrier is very thin right now, which is why staying internalized and depending only on yourself for whatever it is you're trying to achieve, that's the best bet right now. The moon and Mars in Pisces, I mean, and I've been saying it in every single sign, so if you've watched other ones, you'll know that I'm talking about manifestation power this month and probably next month too, because it's really strong, because the veil is so incredibly thin, especially with Mercury in retrograde as well, where there's a very creative element to everything. It's very creative, it's very intangible, it's very elusive, it's very transparent. You'll be able to see straight through people. They'll be able to see straight through you on an intuitive and energetic level. So keep that in mind. Be careful of the characters that you surround yourself with. I really recommend only being around people that you love and that you can trust. No shady car salesman, all right? Don't buy that off Craigslist. Do people still use Craigslist anymore? All right, let's see. Ace of Cups. Let's pull one more, okay. And your card, Libra, Justice. I'm loving the scales. because I know that you've been working very hard to attain equilibrium in your life. You've been working hard to alleviate the things that have like really skewed these scales. And it's interesting, you're getting an interesting mix of stuff with the really positive ones and then with the swords. I mean, it's kind of like those two sides are really evening out too, because this does have a place, by the way. You know, being aware and being conscious of this, you can actually achieve your goals a lot faster if you're aware of the things you're afraid of, because then you can push past your fear. It's like the fear doesn't even exist. Do you know what I mean? So there's positive there. There's always a positive spin to a negative thing. Ace of Cups. There's a buoyancy. I don't know why. Like, I feel like you guys are bubbling up to the top. You're starting to really make your way in whatever this new direction is. And you're starting to feel so solid and just so grounded, right? The justice is nothing if not grounded. You know, I mean, it's like so cut and dry and so kind of logical, and it all just kind of works out. And the universe, it is straightening things out. Where you were at a loss, there is now a gain. I know a lot of your relationships with certain, right? Like, so we all have a thing, right? And I can see this in people's astrology charts. Like, some people's thing is they have bad health. Some people's thing is they have no idea how to figure out a career. Some people's thing is a terrible family life. You know, and there's always this pain area in someone's chart, maybe like 2, maybe 3. And these pain points, or these pain areas, we can see with like Chiron and Saturn and Pluto and stuff like that. These pain places in people's lives become the source of their greatest power. But it takes time, right? Life needs to happen in order for you to realize how to turn that lead into gold. And I think you guys are figuring that out. It was interesting to see the Libra readings all year, because it was, like I said before, I think I said this last month, up the mountain, down the mountain, up the mountain, down the mountain, in and out of hermit mode, and just kind of like going forth and then like, nope, retracting and retreating a little bit. And there were always aces coming out, like always all these new doors. And I know that Libra wasn't taking all of them. You know, I wasn't, as a Libra ascendant, I wasn't taking all of them. I wasn't taking them because I also didn't feel ready. Same thing as I said to Virgo, like there's this feeling of not feeling ready, like you're not prepared enough, you're not successful enough already to start. It's like you have to work out to get in good enough shape in order to feel comfortable going to the gym kind of thing. Like, it's kind of silly. It's kind of ridiculous, but I think that's kind of the essence of what's going on. But the universe is like, no, here it is. Like, here's your open door. And you've had many open doors. You've had many opportunities come to you, but now it's time for you to get over yourself, because you deserve it, and you don't need to pretend anymore like you don't deserve it. Like, if you're going to lie to yourself by saying you don't deserve it, you might as well lie to yourself and say you deserve absolutely everything. Everything good, right? If you're going to be lying to yourself anyway, you might as well make it a useful lie. Right? I mean, like, please, come on. Let's see what else comes out here. 7 of Wands. Queen of Wands, beautiful. I actually like it when people's opposites. So Queen of Wands is a card of Aries, and Aries being your opposite. I like that because it's especially for someone with scales or duality, like Gemini or Pisces too. It means the balance between the two. So I'm really happy that you're tapping into that Aryan quality within yourself. 3 of Wands was the last thing. Look, prosperity, your ships, wealth, money, the relationship, everything and anything you want is on its way. Be careful with what you're manifesting. If you're manifesting from a place of this, you are going to push things away. Okay, you're going to push the things that you say you want away. Again, don't lie to yourself. If you say you want something, but then you also think you don't deserve it, well, what do you think the universe is going to do? It doesn't know what to do with that information. So it's not going to do anything. You can't say you want something and then be afraid to have it at the same time. It doesn't make sense. So you have to make sense internally and get on board with yourself. Because a Queen of Wands absolutely says, yep, that's what I want. And she just goes for it. Cardinal, Aries. Cardinal Libra. What am I saying? Cardinal Libra. Go for it. I always say you're the dark horses of the zodiac. You always kind of creep up. You and Cancer, I think, right? You're always kind of operating in the background, and all of a sudden one day it's like, boom, here's Libra, and everyone knows who you are. Everyone knows, you know, you may have a slow start sometimes, but it's because you're working on the faith in yourself. And it's almost as though you're kind of needing the confirmation sometimes. But right now, that's absolutely not what's needed. There's going to be a lot of naysayers. Again, I'm not getting the energy of anybody else. I really think this Queen of Wands is you. I'm not getting the energy of anybody else with the exception of maybe a presence. I don't know, someone just kind of satellite, you know, a satellite existence in your life right now. I don't really know how substantive this is. I don't know how deep or meaningful this is. For those of you who are in real relationships, your partner might be a little elusive or just kind of like in their own zone, but who cares? Go be in your own zone, right? Go be in your own zone and go kick some ass. And no matter what anyone says, just follow your heart and do your thing. No one cares. That's the whole thing. People think they care, but what they're really doing is just projecting their own inadequacies onto you. You are not in a place of feeling inadequate. There really shouldn't be any of that nonsense going on. If it is, Five of Swords, you need to take care of that immediately. And you can do that through the process of meditation and through the process of starting to, like, can we say, just lie to yourself in a positive way? Just like, yeah, I am going to go make that $1 million this year. No problem. Or yeah, I am going to go find that person I'm going to marry this year. No problem. Like, it's easy. Or whatever it is you got to tell yourself. But don't lie to yourself and say you don't deserve it. Don't lie to yourself and say that you're not worth it or you're not ready. Okay? Because then 2019 is just going to be like just kind of like a flat tire, just kind of, you know how when a tire goes flat and it kind of flaps when you're driving off to the side of the road. It's like that. Like, why would you start your year off like that? Let's take 2018 by the horns, finish it off with a bang, finish it off with really positive manifestations, really positive mindsets, so that when 2019 comes and all the planets are kind of starting to go direct, right? Mercury will be out of retrograde. I don't know when Uranus and Chiron start going direct, but whenever they all start going direct, then you'll be like totally ahead of the game and you'll have all this momentum behind you. Okay, let's go ahead. I'm going to pull out the cards that we'll cover in the comprehensive reading, which will be available on my website. But I'm going to show you, like I've been doing with all the other signs, show you the cards that are clarifying. Okay, so you can kind of get a little preview so you can see if you want to head on over to the website or not. Okay, so I know this is not the best angle. I know. Just to give you an idea, and I will fix the angle for the actual reading itself. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with the Five of Swords because I think that's the most relevant right now, since it is the center card. You're very impressionable right now, Libra. Okay, you need to be careful of what other people say. And you need to have like your mindset, like you need to be taking actions with conviction, okay? It's not a good time to be listening to anyone else. We'll talk more about that. There's some stuff. So Seven of Swords now. What did I say about manifesting? That's what Two of Wands is all about. Okay. So let's look at the moon as well. Two cards of Pisces, meaning that Piscean quality is coming out really hard. Yeah, okay, the Devil. So there's a lot to talk about with this too. Still a lot of just weirdness. It is weird. That's the only word that I can even really think of to describe all of this. It's weird. And especially happening in your 6th house is you may feel very misdirected, you know, like you may feel as though you're duping yourself and like all these things you had set in motion. Now all of a sudden you're questioning whether you want them anymore. That's not gonna benefit you. Okay, amazing. More aces. Beautiful. I see you handling all this new stuff really in a very mature manner. Very mature. Star. Okay, we don't need any more of that. That's beautiful. Let's look at the Fool. I think you have multiple people in your life. Page of Wands and the Knight of Wands, likely the same person. Multiple people in your life that are causing some issues. Yeah, okay, we'll talk about all this. All right, so now you can kind of get an idea of what's out there. I think these go together here. A real mismatch. A real mashup of energy going on for you guys. All right, so link to the comprehensive down below. Same with 2019 annuals if you want to check that out. And also I started a new channel, which is something fun, like a vlog that I'm doing. Plus we're reading really cool books and doing a book club to kind of just help educate ourselves about our spirituality and just humanity, and lots of cool stuff is on the way. I'm so excited about that channel, and we have like this really amazing group of people that are just kind of on my wavelength. So if you want to check that out, the link to that is also down below, plus Instagram too. All right. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you next month. Bye-bye.